All right, all right. We're back for another episode of Let's Talk with David Goff. And today we have the privilege of having Miss Lyric Sky, who's the CEO and owner of the Erotic Sky magazine and an award-winning adult filmstress. How you doing, Lyric?
I'm good. How are you today?
It's good to see you. Good to see you. So, the show is based on the premise that we are walking around people every day in a grocery store, so on and so forth, and we have no idea whatsoever what they do
Okay. That works. Yeah,
out in
that's
the world. So I'm going to say I met you a couple of years ago, maybe a little bit longer. Uh, we were in the same city at the time, and I was moving there for a while, and I was looking for a model to shoot with. I saw you on one of the model sites, and we agreed to do a shoot.
mhm.
Uh, we did. We got some amazing pictures. I am still very proud of those today.
Mhm.
And in addition to that, you kind of got me acclimated to the city a little bit, turned me on to some places to get furniture and things like that. At the time, my understanding was you were doing some modeling and you were also going to school. And
Mhm.
then later on, I found out that you are a part of the adult film industry, right?
Yes. I always just lead with, what we do because not everybody's interested or okay with it. And when you're just going to get photos, you kind of just want to get a feel for the person. And I got to know you. So you kind of, this is me. I don't have anything to hide, but I don't throw it all on everybody at one time.
Well, this is me. I've been the same person since we've met. And I always thought you were, a really cool person to be around. So kind of tell me a little bit about how you got into what you do.
Um, I just kind of fumbled into the industry, honestly. I had graduated with my bachelor's and did all that. Was tired of school and playing and basketball and doing the same thing. I'm like, let me just do something for me.
Right.
So I had always bartended. I went to a club one night and said I was going to dance. Like I had never, ever. So I was like, let me just go do it. Why not have a
Okay.
night? And I did. And then like the third night I went to dance, the bartender didn't show up. So I bartended because I was really good at
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. Then I got invited to the Urban X Awards just as somebody's like date, kind of just to go and get a feel for the industry.
Hmm.
Um, there got invited to different events to feature bartend and be seen because they're like, well, why don't you get into this or why are you not? Are you interested? And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know what I'm interested in. Kind of want to just explore my life and see and kind of
Right.
grab into the industry that way and explored every avenue of it to see where my fit was, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, but just kind of built and grew myself and learned a lot along the way of fumbling into the sex industry, honestly.
Right. Right. So what was it that attracted you to it? I mean, what made it attractive to you? What drew you?
Uh, that one is more of I was a tomboy kind of my whole life, played
Mhm.
sport. So to figure out your hair and makeup and get dressed and put on lingerie or go and dance, it was for me, not anybody else. To see if I could do it, if how
Right.
confident in myself to kind of boost and just do something different. Because I never got to be sexy, you
Okay.
know.
Okay. So I'm trying to understand. Okay, this is not just like choosing to go to a different profession, another job. I mean, that
You're
you're going to
right.
go from this to that. I mean, I think it would take just a little bit more of you, not only to go into the industry, but to take control of your business in the industry, of your niche, of your portion of it. I mean, you
Mhm.
mentioned the magazine. I mean, that was something that was kind of a new venture for you, right?
It is. Like I said, when I started this journey in 2016 is when I started like really dancing. That's what happened. Bartending, award shows, got into the industry. Fumbled into adult work really hard, like more in 2018. So
Mhm.
5 years later, it's just something I've built for myself. I built a name, a brand with Lyric Sky Entertainment. putting myself out there, getting to meet my business partner, my photographer, Salacious Perceptions, and then saying, this is what I want to do. I want to be in the adult industry.
Mm-hmm.
So what's my longevity? What am I going to, what is my stamp on the industry going to be? And that is, I'm a sex worker advocate. I want to represent women and for all of them to feel sexy because that's why I do it. So
Mm-hmm.
magazine, print, I'm very classic, old school kind of gal. So I like print. I like the wow effect of a good photo. So that was kind of the avenue, and why not try that? Playboy I've always looked up to. Vixen is something that is a stamp in the industry. So here are two women here to do it also and bring it into the new age, something more modern. And magazine was the go-to for Erotic Sky. So
Okay.
just a build up of my career throughout the years, and this is what I got to set myself up to do.
You make it sound like such a natural progression. And in our society today, sex work is really has a lot of other connotations.
It is at the taboo. It's not I don't get to go and say, oh, I'm doing photos with you. Hi, I'm a porn star or I do porn. That's not something you just walk up to people and
Right,
get to say and not give you that what? Like I can go up to anybody and say, hi, I'm Lyric Sky and I'm a nurse. They look at me like, oh,
right,
okay, where do you work at? They
right,
don't ask if you say I do porn.
right. Okay. So there still seems to be gaps to me. There's still
Okay.
it still seems to be because like I say, I mean, being in the adult film industry, uh,
Mm.
like I say, has other connotations associated with it as far as society is concerned, as far as the image that young girls see, as far as the images that young boys see and their ideals or ideas about
Uh,
females.
I think there's always a stigma and a stamp on the industry from what you see or how you feel about just sex overall. But coming from looking at it from a young woman standpoint,
Right,
I've always looked at women and been like, wow, they look amazing. Or like if you see a Pam Grier, or if you want to say like a Pamela Anderson, these women you saw on TV growing up, I'm like, holy cow, look at their bodies, look at their brands. They're beautiful, classy, sexy. Going into it, Lyric Sky, I didn't want to be anything that people see as a raunchy. Like I want it to be, that's what it is. It's already sex. Cool.
yeah.
So keep it classy, make it sexy, and dress it up, and it be iconic kind of thing that you want to remember and keep going and put that into the new industry. That's my brand and what I stand for and what I wanted to do, even if it's on film, on print. And going into that, when I met Richard Mann at Urban X Awards, I said that, like, I'm not out here just to be going buck wild in the industry. That's not what I'm here for. You don't
Gotcha.
have to be that person. I want people to see me. I want men to see me as that sexy, iconic, classy. Oh, I want her next to me on my arm at any event that I go to. I want women to see that as I can be that woman, strong, powerful, classy, nasty, and my man still want me, wear my garters, do this underneath something,
Right.
and you're the sexiest woman in the room.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you're elevating yourself to be that top tier in your profession. There's so much today where young ladies and young men are getting involved in the industry, say through OnlyFans and things like that.
Yeah.
And they're, from my perspective, which I have no idea, everybody's reason is different, but it's the financial perspective that they can make a lot of money,
Exactly.
real.
Yeah, I didn't like I said, my story was I'm here because I did not go to the strip club that night to say I'm about to make buku bucks. That is not what I went for.
Right?
I went because I wanted to make myself feel good. So if you go and do that and you feel good about yourself, it doesn't matter what check you're bringing home that night, because some people have jobs that are regular ones and we think like, why would you do that? You
Right.
love to do. That's what you like to do. So in the industry, you don't, if you're going in right away, like the OnlyFans hype and craze, I've had an OnlyFans before y'all knew what it was. If you go and look on my date and my start date on OnlyFans, it
Mm-hmm.
is before it went viral and everybody knew because of the pandemic. Um, we have multiple platforms as adult industry people. There's content creators, there's people we're here for the longevity of it that want to be as a career. We're not jumping on the bandwagon or hype. We're here creating a product and something that's going to last. And when you look at it later, it'll still look timeless.
Right. So did you receive any backlash from family members or people that you have known as you grew up?
It's really interesting. I come from a smaller town in Oklahoma, so that's where I was born and raised. So it's different. Sex, we didn't talk about sex where I grew up. There wasn't a sex ed was in fifth grade, and in like eighth or ninth grade, he talks about it again. But that's like the birds and the bees, girls and boys. Okay.
Right, right.
So for me to explore my sexuality and what I want to do, it was because I never knew anything about it. When you don't talk about it, you don't know about it. You
Mhm.
think it's weird. You think it's, or when you're only told like, if you have sex, you'll die. That's kind of scary. You don't tell people that. For younger people right now, they would laugh at you and look at you crazy if you told them that now.
Right.
So make it a normal thing. No, I don't push it on anybody. That's porn. Great. But I will be open and say, you being confident as yourself as a young woman will change how you feel about yourself and carry yourself. It does.
Okay. So young boys
Hmm.
that experience porn and so on and so forth. I mean, do you believe?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not a man, so
No,
you
no, no.
have to speak from your
Yeah.
perspective. How do
Mhm.
you think that affects the way they look at and treat women, girls, females?
So I will say, I come from a background with a very strong father that is military, that was strict and all of that. So my effect on men, what they're seeing me as, my brand and what I do carry myself as is a classy female, this is my stigma on that. So this is how you should treat, or you should be towards a woman or grown woman when you are of age, if you want to represent yourself in the right way. Don't holler at me and be like, hey mama, how you doing? How are you sexy? Let me talk to you, baby. No, that's not me. So if you want to do that, go find somebody else. And I'm teaching women to carry themselves that way. So the men need to know that there's a right way to approach women, to say that you are attractive, to say like, hey, would you like to go have a drink? Do you want to sit down? Women, because they're sexy and showing their bodies off, doesn't mean that they don't know anything, that they aren't smart, that they just want to be talked to like a piece of meat. I want you to want to get to know me so you can spend time with me. So
Right.
there's learning how to actually approach somebody. If you have younger kids or a younger guy, like even if your kids are young in middle school, it is a thing you're going to talk about sex. TikToks are very raunchy. Okay, y'all are here doing crazy that I wouldn't have thought of.
Right.
They need to know that our industry is like a movie. Y'all are out here watching movies and doing stuff, putting on a show. That's what I do for work. Cool. It is what it is. But me is what I carry myself as a brand, is a sexy, classy woman, which is sexualized. That's great. So you need to get to the door. Chivalry's not dead. You need to talk to someone respectively, even if you are a younger man. Because if you want a woman that looks like this, then this is what you have to do to get it.
Right. So I'm a true believer that so many of our kids are not being raised. They have no positive role models, no positive examples of how they should conduct themselves in other
Exactly.
areas
They're raised
besides.
by the internet and what they see online.
Right. And in
Yeah.
addition to that, I mean, you're talking about how they approach somebody. They are not being raised how to approach people, period, to have conversations, interpersonal relationships, and
Face
things
to
like
face,
that.
gone.
Right. I think that makes things worse. That makes things really does. I really appreciate how you're expressing what you do and the level that you're taking it. I'm not here to uh demonize it or advocate it. It's something that is, and people can take it, people will take it wherever they will try to take it. But
Exactly.
you being who you are and how you present yourself in this particular conversation has let me know that you are the person I always thought you were. uh and I really, what do you think what you do adds to society?
To give it the our little niche that we have, our industry, and what we're bringing to the world is that for adults and people like me, when I hit my mark in college and oh my gosh, I'm an adult, I've graduated, what do you do now? You have a partner or your person and you guys have been married for 20 years. It's okay to watch porn. It's sex is a taboo, but it's something that you should be comfortable with. Explore with your partner. See someone that looks like you, your same body type. Maybe, these are things that when I go look and do my research, I want to see somebody that looks like me or somebody that I can relate to. Um, or even just know it's okay to reach out to somebody or see their brand and be like, oh, wow, she's got all this going on. Sex is okay. And everybody has it. Even if you think that you might be this type of person at home or do this, you never know who is doing what behind closed doors. Like, that's your life. Enjoy what you like to do. It is okay.
Right.
So making that a more normal thing in society. And so when you meet me and I say, oh, this is what I do, you're like, what? Yeah,
Mm.
go check it out. You and your husband, like, go do your thing. And you like that too. Maybe you didn't know you needed to have that okay. So I didn't have that okay. I didn't know until I started doing this, and my life has become better knowing that there are other people that are okay with what you do.
Right. Good deal. So if you could change one thing about well, I would say the world, but it's not the world because different cultures see sex
Mhm.
different. If you were doing one thing to affect American culture,
Okay.
what would you do?
Um, I want to be the advocate that says it is okay to say I'm a CEO of a magazine that is an adult magazine. I can sit at the same table as you that are COOs, CFOs of businesses and companies and corporations to represent myself in the same way, to build a business and a brand to support my family and myself, and not have to jump through hoops and bounds to say that I do this. So very there's a huge industry for sex work, and I get that where there's different levels. It's highly unaccepted, and we're it's very hard to make a living off of it and do it normally and go live your life normally and do things with other people when they see it as you do something. They're like, what? So you get isolated. It's I go out in my day to day and say what I do for my vanilla job, and I can go out and do whatever, rent whatever, be wherever all day long.
Right.
So
So this is your job. This is what you do for work.
mhm,
Do you make a clear separation between that and your personal life?
very much so. I don't. I'm home right now in my humble abode, and once I cross over, I'm here. This is my peace, my place, my space.
Right.
Um, what I am on the internet, my persona always is Lyric Sky. You're gonna see that. You're gonna get that. But if you see me walking around at home on the street, you come up to Lyric, you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, she's so sweet," or "She did it." I'm a regular person, so I
Right.
do keep it very separate. We all have lives. We all have things going on. So yes, you have to, or it becomes like it's not like I'm living in a fantasy, which is what some people think. Like I am working a job. I stop and do this and do me separately. So it does happen.
Okay. So are there any, well, like I said, we go back to the fact of where society is today, and so many young people are being raised by the internet. They're being raised by TikTok, and they're being raised by this, that, and the other. And like you say, that can be a raunchy place to be. Uh,
Mhm.
I think it can be demeaning to some women the way they portray themselves there, and that's their choice. I think that doing it wrong really affects society a whole lot worse than doing it right. But
Yes.
you know what sells and what gets the attention. It's just like when it comes to violence, when it comes to the news, they say if it bleeds, it leads. People want to see the worst of. They
Yeah.
want to.
Right now, our industry kind of with the OnlyFans and the TikToker, all those things kind of merging into what the adult industry is. You have to accept it. It is what it is. Time changes, things elevate or and change. Um, but you don't have to be the next viral thing. You don't have to be doing the craziest thing to go viral, to make a check, to make a living. So you don't have to.
Right.
That's
Right.
very.
Yep. Yeah. So, like I say, you show women that they can be sexy, that they
Yes.
can experience sex, that they can actually enjoy sex and not be villainized for it, not be
Exactly.
stigmatized for it, not be labeled for it. I know when I do photography, there are a lot of ladies who would like to take more risky photos, just for the same reasons that you talk about, you know, for their self-esteem, for the beauty of a woman's body, uh, you know, for self-image and things like that. And I would encourage them to do that. And what they do with the photos is up to them. I
Exactly. Might
believe,
just be for you, you know?
right. I mean, I understand that. Um, I really, like I say, I appreciate the way you portrayed this today. This is a I didn't have really have expectations. I had a
That's
lot
okay.
of curiosities, and you kind of fulfilled those curiosities. Would you, if let's get away from the adult industry,
Okay.
just life in general, what do
Mhm.
you see the next phase of the human development as far as people interacting with each other? As far as, I mean, we see, like you say, there's no face to face anymore. Kids are not taught any manners. They're not taught respect for other people. In a lot of cases, they're not taught respect for themselves. If you could change one thing in the world, how would you address that particular issue?
Um, Screen time is important. That's what the kids have been born with is a phone or tablet in their hand. That's great. Um, when you're with your family, put it down. Do some things with your kids. Do things with your loved ones.
Right.
Uh, Life is short. You don't know. So make sure you always take that time. You don't have to see what's going on around you or with everybody else to enjoy life. You can take that time to stop and enjoy what's around you and what you have right there. And
And
if you're a parent and feel like you can't do that with your kid, then you need to think about some other things, which is maybe changing how you're parenting just a little bit because you shouldn't be scared of your kid to take something away from them or do something because it's not taking away from them. It's enhancing what they have because they will see that later. The time that you have with them, even if you're a parent that's in and out, you're working 2 or 3 jobs, you don't ever know what's going on with people. Make your kid put their phone down and stop and sit with you or go do something, take a trip, go eat dinner or do some find something that you guys can make your thing together. Even if you only have that hour or two a week or a month, that's something that they're going to look forward to and will remember.
right, get them accustomed to some kind of FaceTime and
Do something that they will remember without their phone.
right, right.
Yes.
So, I mean, in our society today, we're also in a state where the majority of families in our community are single parent homes. Majority of kids are being raised by single mothers. I know you're not a mother, so
I'm
so
not I'm an aunt and I have, my god kids. I've been
right.
around I'm around the little ones and make sure I spread my this is love and this is what you need to do better to your parents too. I'm an advocate for that.
So, I mean, what would you say to? I mean, if we're in a sexualized society environment where that's happening,
Mhm.
and the fact that it's happening is becoming more and more accepted. Uh,
Mhm.
having children. What would you? I know you would say the same thing to those particular moms to spend some time with their children. How do
Mhm.
we get from, in your opinion, how do we get from where we are to something better, to society being better?
I don't know about society, I don't know about all that. But as far as, your connection with your kid and if you're worried about my industry does pushing off on them or what they're watching and all that stuff, make your relationship with your child to where they feel okay to talk to you about it. So you don't know that they're trying to hide. I snuck around and did everything behind my parents' back because I could not talk to my mom and my dad wasn't, he was gone and I could talk to him once we had that bond and relationship, but that's your father. But as far as, if you're that dad to your son, if you're that mom to your son or your daughter, whatever, whoever your parent or your bond is, make it to where your kid can talk to you about anything. Because if they can talk to you about anything, you know what's going on with them. You know, if they come in, something's off, they don't feel like it's right. They'll be like, so and so, is kind of saying this. Well, let's talk about it. The more you have that person, because we have that when we're older, your partner that's supposed to be there that you can talk to about. Your kid is your person until they are 18 years old. Talk to them or make it feel like they can talk to you without you yelling at them, going to punish them being afraid to death that something's going to happen to them because they did it or didn't do it, or you made it so scary that they want to go do it. Because Lord, don't do that. Make it to where they can say, I kind of like so and so, we're kind of doing this, but mom, is this, should I even want, and if you're okay, that's your relationship with your kid. But
Right.
they need to be able to talk to you about God dang anything. And if
Right.
they can't, it's not going to be good when you're older. It's not going to matter because you're not going to have that bond in that relationship, and you're going to have to force it then and work on it then.
Right.
And all of that you didn't know when they were kids is going to come out. So it's a whole nother ordeal. Start it right now.
Yeah.
When you're in that third, fourth, fifth, even if they're coming home talking about so and so kissed Susie in the corner. Okay, let's talk about this then. How you feel about it? Be your kid's best friend. You don't have to be their partier. Be their person.
Be their person. So you spoke about being raised by both your parents and your father being military.
Mhm.
What role did the male influence of your father, play in your mindset?
For me, it was always he was that voice of what a man is supposed to be and be there for you as, because my dad was that ultimate gentleman of the epitome of what a man should be. So I didn't want a partner when I'm growing up, or even a boyfriend in high school. I'm like, what are you doing? Your britches are sagging. You looking like this. I would not bring you home to my father.
Right.
So that was the stamp that was put on me and what I want, and that I'm a strong female individual and I don't have to put up with this and I shouldn't, and this is what's right and what I should do. You don't have to have that from a woman. It can be from a man, because teach your daughters that they can stand up for themselves. They don't need to be out here paying for everybody's stuff. Just because you have a baby daddy don't give them your car, give them your house. Pay for your own stuff. Be your own individual. Be your own person.
Right.
Um, so be that father that teaches your daughters that. And when you have that man role model in your life, it is not to scare them into, oh my God, I can't do this. No, teach them be like, you want to find someone that, imitates that and emulates what a man should be. So show your kids that.
Right.
That was what my dad was for me, not that role model kind of figure as a man. I compare every man I meet to my dad. And 99% of them, you're not going to make the cut if you are acting a very certain way.
Right.
So
Right. That's amazing. Uh, so these baby daddies that are running around out there that are making these children and are not being that type of role model to their sons or their daughters, I think a real detriment to where we're going and real reason for where we are right now. Um, I think that what I'm hearing from you is that your father set a standard, that gave you expectations of people, and that's probably why you are the lady that you are today.
it is, yeah, for sure. Having that structure and foundation is great. You don't have to come from a two-parent home. No. If you're that one parent to your kids, whether it be one, two, three, four of them that you have with you, make sure you're showing them that you are the person that you want them to be within the future. Don't show them anything else. Don't show them anything else is okay, or they're going to stray and go do that or go find that or want to know, well, what does that mean? What'd that do? I don't. Just show them what you need to be. Be there for them. Be active. Don't say, "Oh yeah, I got so." Be there for them. You don't have to be there 24/7. That's not what I mean. I mean, be that parent that they need, though, in every type of way.
Right. So do you have any warnings for people who decide that they want to take the path that you've taken?
Like we talked about earlier, money. It's not for money. I mean, you're going to get in this industry and longevity and what you're going to build. Yes, you can live off of it. I do. I enjoy my life. I'm sustaining life off of my adult career. It's great. But I did not start from day one and get my OnlyFans check of 10 bands from taking pictures of my feet. Okay? Didn't happen. It's not gonna happen. And whatever you put out there, like my mom said when I was little, you put it on the internet, it ain't gonna go away. Okay.
Right.
You wrote a note, it's not gonna go away. You sent it a text, it's not gonna go away. You put it out there in the world, it's not gonna go away. If you have kids or your family and you feel any type of way, like if somebody's going to find out, it's not for you. We're not here to do the I'm scared of this and not. I'm very proud of what I do. So be understanding that we're not here just to joke around and it's a game. This is what we do as a job. So the world's gonna see it. They're gonna find out. I did not think ever that people would know who Lyric Sky is when I first started, because I started for me, but I built a brand and a company now around that. And I can't, you can Google me, find me, put my picture in, it's gonna be everywhere. So if you're ashamed of it, don't do it. If you're gonna hide it, don't do it. If you're in it for the money, you'll get it, but don't start off that way. Don't do it.
Okay. So in your experiences, have you received let's call negative attention from males or even females? I mean, as far as how have you been able to handle that? How do you diffuse situations where somebody thinks that you're less than what you are, or you're, less of a being?
For me, you never know what situation you're going to be in. So I'm not gonna say don't put yourself in that situation, but don't put yourself in rooms you don't want to be in or stuff that you're not comfortable with. I put myself in positions to elevate myself and where I might be scared to death or not comfortable because I'm, afraid of something or not knowing, but I want to be there and I'm gonna do what I need. Like I'm here for me. And now if anything ever feels off and y'all are coming at me crooked and I don't twerk, I don't do this, my brand isn't acting wild, all those things, if you wanting me to do that, I'm always going to be me. Lyric Sky 100% of the time. What you've gotten from me is always going to be me, no matter when you meet me, when you see me.
Right.
So carry yourself in the other way. Don't change for other people because then they will take advantage of that and treat you a certain way. Or nope. I'll say that's highly inappropriate. Or I'm gonna say something. You do speak up for yourself. Have people around you, business partners, your core circle that keep you on the path you're supposed to be on, and cut that whenever it's there and help you remove yourself. So speak up. You can't fix it if you don't talk about it when it happens. Don't wait years later and allow other people to fall into the same maybe bad pattern or victimization. But the negative backlash is very, very limited if you put yourself around people that you need to be around.
Right. And it sounds to me like you really need to know who you are first.
It takes time. Like you said, there's gaps, there's missing. It did not happen over a year or two. It has been years of me learning myself and my brand and the people I need around me to make Lyric Sky feel confident enough to be on a international level of being Erotic Sky magazine and sitting here to talk about things I know about now. Because I wouldn't sit and have done this, 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know because I'm still trying to figure out what I'm not going to guide you on, and I'll still tell you now. I will say I don't know much about that, but let me find you someone that can help you.
Gotcha.
So that resources and having a network and trusting enough people or doing your research before you trust people is what I stand by.
Right. And you really treat it like a business. It's not just something that you just jumped out there and decided to do. And like you say, you didn't just go ahead and say, I'm going to make a lot of money, by twerking and shaking my moneymaker, right?
Exactly. So for me, Lyric Sky went into it. Lyric Sky Entertainment is a business. It LLC'd. As soon as we started Erotic Sky Magazine, I'm gonna have my business and my brand. We sponsor events. We sponsor 3 things. We're gonna be on billboards. It is like a Playboy, a Vixen. If you want to call me a Lady Hugh Hefner, that's great because that's what we're gonna be. So $1 billion business corporation. I am a CEO. It is a business. Yeah.
Got you. Lady, I really do appreciate you taking some time out. We had a couple of miscues before today, and I'm glad we finally got this done. It's always good to see you, and I really appreciate you doing this today.
Thank you so much for giving a platform to give a voice about whatever, because I do a lot of adult platform interviews and it's like, oh my God, you want to talk about the same thing over and over. I'm not a flashy, nasty
Right.
adult star that's gonna go buck wild on the podcast. I'm gonna give you the real of what we do because I love what I do. So I am passionate about it. So thank you for allowing me to talk about it.
Appreciate you, and I hope we get a chance to talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.